Welcome to SENDit.Brains at Work, where we invite our brains, our quirks and our calendars to the same meeting, and still we somehow arrive late.
Yeah, not me checking the clock thinking, oh, we've got 10 minutes. Then boom, half an hour is gone. It's as if time had a send receipt, then it's seen, and mine is leaving me left on red.
So today we're exploring time blindness, why it happens in ADHD and autism and how it shows up at work, what actually helps us. So time blindness isn't a formal diagnosis, it's a way to describe real difficulties sensing and estimating and managing time, especially when executive function is stressed. But first, Steph, what have been your neuro wins and fails this week?
Oh, well, one of mine is a win and a fail all in one. So I decided I was going to spring clean and organise the kids' toy room. So I went in, I was going through it all, took out all of the broken toys, binning it, Barbies who've had the haircut, made a nice little space for the art area because at the minute it all seems to be about crafting, Play-Doh, slime. But then I ended up Googling some nice storage boxes, some little kind of caddies for the pens, just to make it look a bit nicer. Totally went down a rabbit hole, I'm not going to lie. I spent an hour then on Pinterest and AI looking at how to organise rooms. In the end, it took me about 4 hours because I ended up hyper-focusing, doing all these bits on my phone, and then obviously finding all the little bits that go with certain toys. So Action Man's gun, Barbie's little dog that tucks under her arm. I mean, she's even got a dog that poops, so I had to find all the little poops that go with it as well. All the stuff that I can give to the charity shop, and then obviously the board games, making sure all the bits go together. When realistically, I had half an hour to do the toy room, and I should have been putting my washing away, which I cannot stand doing, so I definitely will have ignored it. And I should have been batch cooking because we've got a very, very busy weekend of sport coming up.
I'm exactly the same. I can completely relate to that. I've got a win and a fail for you, but in all honesty, they are both peak neurodivergent behaviour. This is my win, and in all honesty, it's a major life achievement, and it was getting my husband's car for its MOT on time. So I'm not late. I'm just around the corner. It's fine, they'll squeeze us in. I'm actually early, and honestly, I should get some sort of certificate or a parade, never mind the car.
Yeah, I'm actually really proud of that because I've seen your time blindness.
Yeah, I know. Here's the fail, and it's beautiful because the moment the MOT booking existed and the car was at the garage, my brain went, right, Claire, this is your entire personality now. I had one mission, and that was to wait for them to call me to say the car was ready. For normal humans continuing to live their lives, maybe they might have had work, they might have had lunch, maybe they did a bit of blinking, but instead I spent the entire time staring at my phone like it was some sort of hostage negotiation. Could I answer emails? No. Could I start a task? Absolutely not. Don't be ridiculous. I couldn't even stand up and put the kettle on. It was as if, what happened if they called in those 6 seconds? There I am, a fully grown adult woman, sitting motionless, staring at my phone like it was some sort of tracking device, protecting that MOT pickup time as if it was the fate of the universe depended on it. When eventually the garage rang, I leapt up, reflexes of somebody who's been training for an Olympic sport, specifically called waiting for the MOT man. Mission completed. But did I manage to do anything else my entire morning? No. But the car passed, so frankly, I achieved something.
And that is pure time blindness dedication, because we do, don't we? The minute we get that appointment, nothing else can happen because we have to wait for that time slot. But I do things as well a little bit differently to that. I have to plan everything in and do it backwards. So if I know, right, my MOT slot's at 12, I've got to set off for 11:30 because obviously it's a 20-minute journey, but you've got to think about the traffic that can be there. And then, right, what time do I have to be dressed? What time do I have breakfast? What time do I have to set my alarm to wake up? Everything is planned back to an actual T. And you couldn't possibly think of taking a detour to go shopping or something in between it. You have to sit at home and wait for that dedicated time.
Yeah, that brings us on really nicely to looking at what time blindness is. In plain terms, time blindness is struggling to feel how long things take, to notice time passing, or to pivot on time, or it might be like starting or stopping or switching task when you intend to. People with ADHD often report that it's a core difficulty, which is echoed by clinicians and workplace guides.
And autistic adults and families also describe day-to-day differences with time, like learning time concepts, anticipating the future, and switching between activities, though some lab tasks that have been done sometimes show very mixed findings.
So time blindness isn't about laziness or a character flaw. It's about how your brain processes time, attention and planning.
So why do some brains do this? And there's a lot of studies, and they go for ADHD, autism, all the way through the different neurodiversities. And these studies link time perception differences to executive function. People can misjudge durations, struggle to estimate how long a task will take, or switch tasks on time, especially under real-world pressure, because we all do it, don't we? Oh, I'm going to have half an hour, just going to box off a few emails, 45 minutes, an hour later, and you're like, right, that's totally eaten into my time when I should have been doing something else.
Clinicians also point to the prefrontal cortex. So that's the bit where coordinating planning, attention and goal-directed behaviour happens. So when that network is working differently, sensing and organising time can be harder. So that's not willful, it's neurological.
And in autism, evidence is nuanced. So a systematic review found differences, mostly consistently, in higher level time perception. So the complex stuff, closer to daily life, while basic timing tasks are more mixed. And that maps to what many autistic adults say. The lived time challenges are real, even when lab tasks don't always catch them. So, thinking about some stories about this, especially linking to the workplace, you're deep into a report, hyperfocus lands, 90 minutes vanishes, you emerge like a time-travelling meerkat and realise you've missed 2 messages and a stand-up.
So you try to leave for a 9:30 meeting at 9:10, you've got your keys, fine, you've got your shoes, fine. Where's your pass? You find it. So after watering that plant and moving a chair and contemplating the meaning of staplers,
and you plan a task for just 15 minutes, it stealthily becomes 55 minutes and your inner clock was completely on holiday.
Let's look at what the research says. So ADHD and time in recent reviews report frequent difficulties in time estimation, time reproduction and everyday time management, but some methods might vary.
Autism and time is definitely one that needs to be looked at. Again, there's been a systematic review concluded that differences are mostly consistent for complex higher order in time, like that judging longer durations and retrospective time, but it's less so for simple sub-second tasks. The translation for this is challenges may show up more in real life demands than the quick lab tests.
Families highlight everyday behaviours, so learning clocks and time language, preparing for future events, and the impact of deeper focused interests all have an impact. I know for my children, learning time has been a real difficulty for them, and they still struggle now. If I say time in analogue, for instance, it has to be in digital or it means nothing.
And there was actually a careful adult study found that while autistic participants reported time-related difficulties on questionnaires, the task they performed on certain timing tests was comparable to that of non-autistic participants, reminding us again that these lab tasks that are done don't actually capture everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, so let's think about some news stats then. So buckle up for this one, because this week's Neurospicy News is basically a bit of a public service announcement to every employer in the UK. And this is now looking at if you're not supporting your neurodivergent staff, then the tribunals will. And wow, are they busy with it. So we found that neurodivergent staff grievances are shooting up at unreal rates. And the stats, they are not cute and they are not nice. One main news report has found a marked rise in grievance claims from neurodivergent employees, and honestly, it's a little bit shocking. It says that nearly half of employees say their workplace has no clear support for neurodivergent people, and it now says that only 23% of organisations actually have a dedicated neurodiversity policy. That's a whole quarter of staff believe that their employer isn't even aware of divergent needs. And I know that obviously neurodiversity is growing fast. There's more awareness around it. There's more diagnosis coming out. But that means as an employer, you have to catch up fast.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like watching a sitcom where the boss keeps forgetting to read the HR manual, except it's real life and people are suffering because of it.
Employment tribunal cases linked to neurodiversity have almost doubled. Over the tribunal courts, judges are basically saying, welcome back, it's neurodiversity court. Employers need to learn the Equality Act the hard way, and I think a lot of them are. Employment tribunal cases involving autism, ADHD, dyslexia and other conditions have pretty much doubled in 5 years. So in 2020, there was 265 cases. By last year, that had jumped to 517. That's a 95% rise.
Wow.
Autism and ADHD are obviously now the most frequently cited conditions in tribunal cases. And tribunals are ruling and they're making it very, very clear that employers must, 1, recognise neurodivergency as a potential disability, 2, offer reasonable adjustments, and 3, train managers so they stop saying things like, have you tried to be more organised?
So basically, neurodivergent employees are saying, support me now or I'll see you later in court.
Exactly. So neurospicy people are done with workplaces where the only accommodation is, let us know if you need anything.
So we've covered the headlines now, and now I want to look into different toolkits that we can use to support each other.
So let's share these practical tools. A main one, which I think is absolutely great, is externalising that time. This is a really, really good one because obviously you need those visual timers, the progress bar, or, watch the complications. Put that big clock in your eye line. Set start moving alarms. So these come from your phone, your fitness trackers telling you to move and not just focus on one task. Don't just set event alarms. Make sure you've got the movement ones in there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You could chunk reality, and by that I mean work in short time boxes. That could be 10, 25 minutes. Label that box. So in my calendar, you will see I name what I'm doing in that particular time. I don't waste time when I get into it. And then you can move on and pack those results.
One of my favourite ones as well is body doubling. I do this in many aspects of my life. So work alongside somebody. It might be live or it might be virtual, just to anchor times and transitions. Pair it with a shared timer. So it might be somebody who you work with. You might jump on a Teams call together, just so you both know you've got half an hour. Let's blast these tasks off. Keep each other completely on task for it. I mean, we do this together, but we do end up knocking each other off.
We do as well. Now, next and then, this is something that I use at home. So it's a simple sequencing board, or you might have list apps that help. So you can see what's coming up now and then what's coming up next. So you've got that real visual reminder.
Pre-flight checks, a very, very simple one. Very easy to do, and it's helpful. Before any meetings, before leaving the house, run the 60-second checklist. Have I got my keys? Have I got my pass? Have I got my documents? Have I got my water? I mean, I did the school run in my house slippers the other day because I'd done everything else but forgot to check, have I put my shoes on?
Brilliant. You could look at your future self and put out future you hacks. One of the things that I do or try to do when I've got meetings is put buffers in, a buffer before the meeting, a buffer afterwards. That means as you're working on the task and your schedule begins to get packed up, you've got more time at the end of whatever you're doing, just in case there's some sort of time drift.
And then we've got sensory and signals. Pair that alarm going off with a bit of a sensory cue. Have you got a favourite song? Have you got a light strip? Have you got a little haptic buzz that might go off on your phone, really to distract you?
Yeah, absolutely. Then we've got toolkits for managers and teams as well.
Because this is important, isn't it? It's not just the individual. How can managers support you?
Some of these, in fact, all of these could help for anyone. They don't have to be neurodivergent. Shared clarity is so important. Having written agendas with timings on, flags for time critical work up front, follow up with a summary note with next steps and with dates.
Yeah, that is a great one, isn't it? Especially if you've got that demand avoidance.
Yeah.
This is the hard deadline. Let's set some soft clauses so we know we can build up to it. Time-aware calendars. Encourage that 15-minute hold before and after big meetings. Avoid back-to-back because that is really going to be the downfall. Offer meeting lengths of 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. and end that 5 minutes early just by default.
Visible progress is so useful. So using things like Kanban or a visible status board, you can agree those check-ins. So instead of "are you done yet," they're there so everyone can see them.
And then you've got your flexible sequencing. So where possible, allow deep work windows, that calm area, that kind of area where everyone can settle down and not have too much noise, distractions around them. And then think about the asynchronous updates.
And then I think you could also, and what's really important, is look at normalising those tools as well. Make timers, checklists, body doubling, an all team option, so then nobody's singled out.
Yeah, absolutely, because they do work for everybody, don't they? It's not just the neurodivergent people. Neurotypical people can use these and support them, and it'll create a more positive workforce and a little bit less stress.
Yeah, exactly.
So if time is feeling slippery, you're not broken, your time sensing system just needs a bit more external support.
Why not pick one of the tools from today and try it this week? Set a start moving timer, add a calendar buffer, or do a test for a visual timer. Then tell us what's changed.
Yeah, this was SENDit.Brainsatwork, and obviously you're with us. So I'm Steph.
And I'm Claire.
And may your tea be hot and your meetings actually start on time and finish on time.
Podcast disclaimer. The views, thoughts and opinions expressed in this podcast belong solely to the hosts. We are not experts, specialists or professionals, and nothing we discuss should be taken as advice. Our conversations are based around our own experiences, ideas and perspectives. They are intended for general discussion and entertainment only. If you need guidance, support or advice, whether professional, personal, medical, legal, financial or otherwise, please seek help from a qualified professional. By listening to this podcast, you understand and agree that the hosts are not responsible for any actions you choose to take based on what you hear.